Mr. President, last night, Donald Trump gave a speech about how supposedly great his first year has been. So, of course, his speech was short, because there's really not much to say about how great Trump has been. For 18 minutes, the president last night tried to convince Americans the sky is green, that trees can walk. He yelled at the camera and said that things are somehow going great, even though costs are up. He said he's doing a great job in office, all of which is obviously false, and the American people didn't buy it. It was clear watching the speech that the president didn't want to be there. The only thing Americans saw last night was a very rich president trapped in a bubble, forced by his advisors to give a speech he didn't want to give. It's like your cousin who can't sit still for a Christmas photo. Only this is the President of the United States. Our country is in a lot of trouble right now, but instead of giving Americans a plan on how we'll lower their costs, Donald Trump played the blame game. That's so typical of him. Instead of solving a problem, which is what a good president is supposed to do, he just points the fingers at other people. And that doesn't do a bit of good to get the American people back on the right track. It's never a good sign when the president begins a speech by saying, "I inherited a mess," because that's just another way of telling people, I don't want to be responsible for any of this. Again, President Trump's speech showed he lives in a bubble, a billionaire bubble, completely disconnected from reality that everyday Americans are seeing and feeling. People are feeling squeezed harder and harder every day, and Donald Trump last night took a victory lap. Now let's talk about one of the most important issues for Americans when it comes to cost, health care. Last night, Donald Trump offered exactly 0 solutions for how we're going to lower Americans' health care premiums. He kept blaming Democrats. He kept saying the health care crisis is not his fault. But here are the facts. Immutable facts, Donald Trump. No amount of finger-pointing, lying, hyping it up, patting yourself on the back is going to undo the fact that the American people are going to pay a lot more for health care come January 1st. Because on January 1st, the ACA enhanced premium tax credits are going to expire because Donald Trump chose to let them die. Even our Republican colleagues have told us time and time again, if Trump would do something here and support an extension of the tax credits, as we Democrats are fighting for, then maybe they'd be able to do something, but he doesn't. And now, tens of millions are going to see their insurance premiums double on average. 4 million people will lose insurance because Donald Trump let it happen. And he's there sitting in front of the TV camera, patting himself on the back. Unbelievable. Millions more with private insurance will see their premiums go up because Donald Trump let it happen. Emergency rooms are going to be even more overrun. People are going to be kicked out of nursing homes. Rural hospitals will close. And there's Donald Trump congratulating himself on how great he is. And look, because of Republican total inaction on health care, huge damage has already been done. And nothing we do after January 1st can undo so much of that damage. As I've said before, the toothpaste is out of the tube. However you want to say it, the point is this. Because of Republicans, it is now impossible, sadly, to prevent people from having to pay hundreds, if not thousands, more on their premiums next year. It's going to start January 1st. Even if we can figure out a way to stop the bleeding next year, that's a very big if. Republicans are still in shambles and have no plan themselves. For too many people, it's going to be too late because Republicans chose to let these ACA tax credits expire. They had an easy opportunity to join us in our 3-year clean extension of the ACA credits, and they refused. Well, Americans heard none of what they wanted to hear last night during Trump's speech. Nothing about how he'll lower premiums, nothing about how he'll lower their costs of living. Nothing about how Republicans could have fixed this crisis, but didn't. Donald Trump kept playing the blame game. And many a president has tried to do that, all with disastrous results. People want solutions. Donald Trump gave them none. Democrats, meanwhile, are not going to stop fighting to lower people's premiums, and we're not going to stop fighting to lower costs across the board and help Americans pay for the things they need. To avoid those moments on Friday night when families sit around the kitchen table and say, how the hell am I going to pay this bill? I don't have the money for it, and I need what the bill has asked me to pay for. Look, we Democrats will not stop fighting to lower costs and help Americans pay for the things they need. These will be our watchwords in 2026, lower costs and lower health care costs in particular. And that issue ain't going away, Republicans. We're going to keep on it and on it and on it until maybe you join us to really solve the problem. Republicans, health care is not going away. People need help to afford premiums, and Democrats are going to keep fighting and pushing this issue for all of 2026 and beyond.